the God who hid Moses in a rock. Moses begged God, "Show me your glory." And God said, "You cannot see my face and live, but I will hide you in a rock, and you will see my back." So God passed by in power and in mercy. Sometimes protection is hidden in the places where he passes near. This is the true story of how God hid Moses in a rock. It's found in Exodus chapter 33, beginning at verse 18. There, Moses was talking to God, and he says, "I want to see your glory." Now that's a pretty bold request, isn't it? But Moses didn't realize just how bold that request really was until God responded to him and said, "You can't see my face and live. You can't see my front. You can only see my backside. But I'll hide you in a rock, and you will see my back as I pass by." So Moses did what he needed to do. He hid himself in a rock, and then God passed by. And when he did, there was power in his passing, and there was mercy in his passing. And Moses learned something very important about God in that moment. You see, sometimes God's power is demonstrated in mighty and miraculous ways, but other times it's demonstrated in ways that are more subtle, like when he covered Moses with the rock so that he would be protected. Now, this is not the first time that God had passed by like this. If you go back earlier in the book of Exodus to Exodus chapter 14, God did something similar for Israel. There, the children of Israel were being chased by the Egyptian army, and they cried out to God for help. And God divided the Red Sea so that they could escape. But when they did, he allowed Pharaoh and his army to come in right behind them so that they could be destroyed. So you have this mighty act of God, the dividing of the sea. But there was also mercy in that moment. And God demonstrated his power and mercy at the same time when he passed by. So what's the lesson for us in this passage? Sometimes God's protection, like this rock that covered Moses, be found in the midst of the very problems that you're facing. For example, sometimes the enemy will attack you in the area of your relationships, and God will allow those attacks to come against you so that you can escape and be covered by his presence. Other times the enemy will attack you through your finances or your health or your job, and God will allow those attacks to come against you so that you can escape and be covered by his presence. So where do you run when these attacks come against you? You run to God, and as you run to God, he will hide you, will cover you. And as you look back, you'll see his power and his mercy at work in your life. And that's the encouragement that we have in this passage. Don't be afraid when the enemy attacks, because God will hide you in the rock. And when you look back, you will see the power and the mercy of God at work in your life. Thanks for watching.